This is what ourselves. We are going to police ourselves. We are going to police ourselves.
We'll make a formal complaint, and I'll show you this cannot be true. We have a country, and we are a part of the country. We cannot have terrorism terrorizing the country and have officials in government terrorizing citizens. It's not acceptable. You see several kinds of damage and everything. Those who claimed yesterday to be democratic are now today destroying our democracy. And all of us have come together to save our democracy for tomorrow, because we cannot continue in this direction. The APC government, as of today, have killed governance, our democracy, our legislature, and our judiciary. Similar situation with our economy. We have more people today living in poverty. The highest rate of growth of people living in poverty was within the past 2 years.
It's about the people. And so I am not really keen on big numbers, macroeconomic numbers, that when I see that on a daily basis, I see that it really doesn't reflect on the reality of my people on every day. The everyday reality doesn't reflect. So for me, that is worrisome. And that was the same thing that bothered us on the other side. That is the same thing that bothers, I see, our people in the ADC. And so there is a match. There is a very perfect match. We are definitely of like mind. And so we are here to ensure that the people actually feel that this is the country that they belong to and that the country is working for them.
Today, in our nation's capital, it is officially confirmed that President Bola Tinubu has removed a scandal-tainted Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, from his position with immediate effect. This is not just a routine change of guard, it is a full-blown clearing of the deck at the Louis Edet House. The breaking update reaching us from the seat of power in Abuja is that the President has decided that the tenure of Kayode Egbetokun has reached its logical and necessary conclusion. As of today, February 24, 2026, the directive has been sent down and the transition is already in motion. The atmosphere at the force headquarters is unlike anything we have seen in recent years. Reports coming from the ground describe a scene of heavy emotion, but not the kind you might expect when a leader leaves. Instead of somber faces, there is a palpable sense of relief and outright celebration among the rank and file. Junior officers and senior commanders alike are whispering that a heavy cloud has finally been lifted. The location of this major event is not just the presidential villa, but the very heart of our internal security apparatus, which the change is being implemented with immediate speed. Tunji Disu, a man known for his previous roles in high-pressure tactical units, has been named as the successor to take over the mantle of leadership. To understand how we got to this point of no return, we have to look at the chronological backstory that led to Egbetokun's downfall. See, the rain did not just start falling today. The clouds have been gathering for a long time. When Egbetokun first took office, there was a glimmer of hope that his close relationship with the presidency would translate into better welfare for officers and a more secure Nigeria. However, the timeline of his tenure became increasingly defined by reported scandals and allegations of high-handedness. From the mismanagement of internal promotions to the alleged diversion of operational funds meant for the front lines, the grievances began to pile up like a mountain. There were reported instances where the morale of the force hit rock bottom because the leadership was seen as more interested in the optics of power than the safety of the Nigerian people. The escalation reached a breaking point when specific petitions regarding administrative malpractice and the alleged protection of certain interests over the public good began to circulate within the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly and the Police Service Commission. Let's talk about the rules of the game so everyone understands how this works under the law.
And a struggling economy. So let's talk about the very real conflict and violence happening in Nigeria. Nigeria is facing multiple different security challenges in various parts of the country, including violent extremist groups in the northeast, criminal banditry in the northwest, and across the country, farmer-herder conflict in the Middle Belt, and other intercommunal violence in central and northern regions. Several factors are driving these conflicts. Yes, ethnicity and religion play a role in some cases, but other dynamics like poor governance, resource competition, climate change, and population pressures are important drivers that need to be addressed. I appreciate the chairman's passion on this and his long work on Nigeria. I think it's a distortion to say that what we're trying to say is that there's nothing to see here. In fact, there is something to see here. There is very real conflict and violence that we need to address. I've been working on addressing conflict in Nigeria since 2013, 2014, when I was part of the counter Boko Haram strategy at the State Department. The violence impacting both Christian and Muslim communities is real, and the Nigerian government can and should do more to address it. I was horrified to learn of the killing of 2 people and the kidnapping of the pastor and a worshiper at a church in Kwara State. And this came only a few days after, as the chairman mentioned, criminal bandits kidnapped 25 girls in Kebbi State. But it is counterproductive to adopt oversimplistic narratives about the multiple complex overlapping security challenges and violence across the country. The victims in the Kebbi State kidnapping were all Muslim girls. So violence affects everyone, and false narratives perpetuate harmful stereotypes and motivate tensions and violence based on religious identity. Distorting what's happening into a solely religious narrative erases the real drivers of violence and makes it harder to implement effective solutions. And it can fuel violence against the very groups the Trump administration claims it wants to protect. That's why I'm alarmed by President Trump's rhetoric about this violence and threats to go into Nigeria, guns a-blazing, and to wipe out terrorists. We are already receiving reports of increased tensions between Christian and Muslim populations following this rhetoric. President Trump's threat is reckless, and any unilateral military action in Nigeria would be illegal. Congress has not authorized force in Nigeria to protect Christians, and any action without Nigeria's consent violates international law. We also know that a military-first response won't actually address the violence and will do very little to protect Christian communities. As I said, I worked on Nigeria policy since I was at the State Department in 2014, so I know firsthand these security challenges are multifaceted and they require a holistic approach. A military-led approach risks more civilian casualties and impunity, which will only fuel violent extremism more. So we need to use more tools from our foreign policy toolbox if we're serious about helping Nigeria protect its citizens. That means we need to leverage diplomacy and engage with Nigeria on how we can help support their response while pushing for important reforms within Nigeria's institutions. We also need to utilize foreign assistance to fund programs to help prevent violence and address conflict drivers. But the Trump administration so far has hobbled these tools. On the diplomatic front, while I'm glad to see Ambassador Pratt will be here representing the African Affairs Bureau, we still have yet to see even a nomination for an Assistant Secretary for Africa. And we don't have a Senior Director for Africa at the NSC either. There are several emergent conflicts in Africa, including in Nigeria, but also in Sudan, DRC, and across the Sahel and in Ethiopia that demand high-level, consistent, and substantive engagement. Occasional attention from the president, while most of the time welcome, won't be enough to see lasting results on all of these different crises. And on the development front, President Trump's dismantling of USAID and cuts of hundreds of millions of dollars worth foreign assistance in Nigeria is worsening the violence. For years, the United States has supported Nigerian institutions, civil society, faith-based leaders, and researchers to address the conflict, violence, and religious freedom challenges. These programs proactively prevented and directly addressed the violence this administration is now concerned about. For example, a recent article in DevEx highlighted a program that Secretary Rubio terminated, which has left a void in communities that suffer violence. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to submit for the record a DevEx article titled "The Cuts That Bleed: What Happens When Peace Programs Go Dark."
MPC of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, held its 304th meeting on February 23rd and 24th, 2026. The committee reviewed key developments in the global and domestic economies, as well as the outlook. 11 members of the committee were in attendance. Decisions of the MPC. The committee decided as follows. 1. Reduce the monetary policy rate by 50 basis points to 26.5%. 2. Retain the standing facilities corridor around the MPR at plus 50 to minus 450 basis points. 3. Retain the cash reserve requirement, CRR, for deposit money banks at 45%, merchant banks at 16%, and 75% for non-TSA public sector deposits.